Hi, my name is Chris Ryan. You've joined me here at the Belfry. We are in the Talent Performance Centre, and the video today is looking at your pitch shots, and we are going to give you a fantastic drill that can help you understand and improve your angle of attack, which is going to hopefully help you get up and down a little bit more often. Before we do that, in the corner of the screen you should have details for my Facebook, for my Twitter and for my Instagram accounts, so please also make sure you go ahead and you follow me on those. So we're talking specifically about short pitch shots, so 20, 30, 40 yards. So during the course of a round of golf, you're probably going to have quite a few shots from this distance, and we're talking specifically in this video about angle of attack. Now, for this, we want to really make sure we've got the right angle of attack. It's really important in terms of how that club interacts with the ground, and that's going to help us, well, it's going to give us the greatest margin for error, so when we're not quite spot on, we still get a decent result. Now, you'll notice on the floor, I've got two impact boards. You can use towels, they're quite simple. Hopefully you've got a couple of towels, and you're going to use those instead of impact boards, or you might just use a couple of tee pegs. But what I've got them here, I've got an impact board here, and they are just over a foot apart. So probably about 14, 15 inches distance between them. Now, we may well have seen videos in the past where we've been told to place something behind the ball, and we're told that if we can miss this board, that means that we are steeper into the golf ball, and that's going to help us strike our iron shots. And I would agree with that. Generally, we'd like to get golfers a little bit steeper and get the angle of attack a little bit more down. However, when we're hitting shots over 30, 40 yards, we often find that too many golfers are too steep. If we're too steep, we generally have a little bit too much shaft lean. We tend to engage the leading edge a little bit too much. We run the risk of taking bigger divots. We often find that we deliver a lower loft than what is stated on the golf club. We flight the ball too low, we can't control the consistency, we can't control the flight, etc, etc. So certainly for pitch shots, it's important that we get the right angle of attack. It's no good just being steeper than you are. We want to get the right angle of attack. So this setup is very simply going to give you some information about your attack angle. So let me go ahead and hit a couple of shots here. So I'm just going to place the ball right in the middle, and I'm just going to take my setup. I'm just going to hit a shot that goes probably only 30 yards, so quite a short distance. And I've just got a 54-degree wedge here. Okay, so I hit the board behind. So straight away, that tells me that my approach was probably a little bit too shallow into that pitch shot. So when I'm on the course, I might find I catch the ground a bit early. I might find that I struggle when the grass gets a bit longer. And I might find that my strike isn't quite as consistent as I would like it to be. So let's hit another one. So I'm going to try and steepen it. So let's say I believe my approach angle is a bit too shallow, so I'm going to try and steepen it. So I'm going to hit the same shot over the same distance. Okay. Now that time I hit the second board, and you can see it's moved a little bit. That ball took off significantly lower. Probably would have had a much fierier first bounce. Would have been a lot more difficult to control. So that tells me that that time I probably had a little bit too much lean in the club shaft. I probably presented a little bit too little loft, and I'm not really going to be able to get up and down too often if that's my technique. So we can see, hopefully, where the third one's going to go. The third one wants to be where we're making contact with the ground, but we're missing both of these boards. Now, ideally, you would start off doing this without a ball. So I'm just going to make a few little practice swings. And you can see that I'm making contact with the ground, but I'm not making contact with either of the boards. And what that's doing is that's telling me that my approach angle to the ball is about right. It's not a scientific, it's not a TrackMan, it's not a flight scope, we know that, but it's giving you some good feedback that you can use during your practice. Once you've done a couple, we can go ahead and feel like we hit a couple of shots. Now that was a much softer ball flight, much higher, would have had a lot more stop on it due to the land angle. The strike was a little bit crisper. And more importantly, I engaged the bounce on the golf club. And when we engage the bounce, our margin for error significantly increases. And it means, as I said at the start, when we don't hit perfect shots, we still get decent results. So this could be a great little practice station. I've got my golf ball in the middle of those two boards. I've got my feedback. And I'm just going to hit a couple of pitch shots where I feel like I'm bouncing the club on the ground where the ball is, but I'm not making contact with the boards. So for me, this is something that many golfers could do. It's got huge advantages, not many disadvantages, but it's going to tell us whether we're too shallow and too steep. And there's 3 in a row. So all very similar flights. The interaction with the ground was as I want it, and that's really what I want to try and practice, is how my club approaches the golf ball. So impact boards are great because they give instant feedback and the noise, but if you haven't got those, towels would work, tee pegs. Try and get a little bit imaginative, think what you could put there, play some pitch shots, 30 or 40 yards, just over a foot in gap, and it's giving you some great information. Just make sure you don't go up to about 70 or 80, because we do probably want to get a little steeper in the attack. We probably would find we hit that second board, so make sure you keep this drill to those 30, 40 yard shots, and I guarantee you, you'll flight it much better and hopefully get up and down a little more often. Right, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any comments, if you did like it, all that stuff is down below. There is also a link to subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done already, then please do so. Loads more content on there, over 240 videos and more getting uploaded weekly. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again next time.